Agenda has taken over. I mean, take these guys at PTR Radio, just look at these basement dwellers. Two fat guys and someone who thinks he's a freaking monkey. The end is near, folks.
And now back to just a great podcast. I mean, really great bunch of guys, just the biggest and best stars on the podcast scene.
And now back to PTR Radio with Mike the Ape Man, Shaggy, and Colin. These three guys should really come with a warning label, maybe like for rectal use only.
Feel my body, drink my wine.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another edition of PTR Radio, quickly becoming a monthly feature. It's not by anyone's fault other than our own.
No, it's not anyone's fault other than mine.
You know, and I am going to... all right, I'm not going to drink this Mountain Dew that I brought in because it has... I'm like, oh, it just has a smudge on the outside of the bottle. No, there's something white on the inside of the bottle. I probably shouldn't drink that. No. It's not a finger or a rat, so, you know, that's good. But
It's probably just sat around too long, and all the extra caffeine has condensed on the side of the bottle.
Yeah, but, you know, I've had enough fun lately that I don't want any more fun. So, so Colin's had world travels that have kept us from going on. I've had other issues that have kept us from going on. And so that's why we're on a Thursday, and why it happens. What happens? Well, I'll tell you what happens. We are not young people, you know. We are older, wiser, and unfortunately, that also means that we go through certain things, certain medical procedures.
Pre-menopause.
We're pre-menopause, Mike. Yeah. So
no, not we.
No,
I'm in my prime.
Really, Mr. Ice Packs on the knees. Slip disc in the back, can't get off a toilet without a cane.
Never had a slip disc. Knees have been surgically repaired.
So,
I just need glasses to drive now, that's all.
I need glasses to be able to read my phone. All right? That's what I need glasses for.
You see, to read my phone, don't need glasses.
I need
just do this
to do everything. But I need extra glasses to read my phone now. So,
if I weren't able to remove my glasses, I would have an issue. But with my glasses off, my eyes are like, hey, everything's right there, exactly where I want it.
Oh, just give it time. I used to be that young, so but not anymore. But yeah. You reach an age where they go, hey, it's time for that exam. And we all know what that exam is. And as my sister-in-law told me, I can now report that I am a perfect asshole. So, and I have the pictures to prove it. We're not going to go through that photo gallery today on the show. But,
No, we will not. We absolutely will not. I will quit.
Yeah. But I have another 10 years before I have to go through it again. So,
It's like jury duty.
But, it's an important thing to do. And probably not enough people do it. So, I was talking to our old pal Nate, and he has not gone through it. And I said, it's not nearly as big of a pain in the ass as most people think, literally or figuratively. And besides, they give you Lorna Doones and apple juice when you're done. So what could be better? Cookies and juice.
Going to Dollar Tree and getting my own damn Lorna Doones and apple juice for $2.
Maybe, but So yeah. That was...
And the irony here is that I am the oldest on the show, correct?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
So
I have not had that procedure yet.
Why not, Mike?
I have been told that next year is the year, 50.
No, 45 is the year.
If you have...
Depends on the doctor. See, my doctor has been doing blood tests. And he's like, as long as this blood test is, this number is this low, then we'll see this year,
It's 45 if you have family history or other underlying conditions. Otherwise, my insurance won't pay for it until I'm 50.
Really? Because the CDC says it should begin at 45.
So
For men.
F the CDC.
You
They
know?
have not proven to be very reliable over the past 3 years.
Well, So, yeah. Well, how about the Chicago School of Medicine? Are they any better? Or are they just crooks and frauds?
The Chicago School of Medicine.
American Cancer Society. How about them? Do you trust them?
Them I trust. They say 45 now, too?
Newest guidelines recommend that colorectal cancer screenings begin at age 45.
Okay. See, I haven't. Apparently, my insurance company hasn't gotten the memo for that one yet. So
They're probably worried about
But
TPS.
you're
reports.
supposed to start screening, but what makes up that screening is the question.
that's fair.
It says
Which, to
first,
Colin's point, if your blood work does not show any irregularities, then your doctor is not going to send you for a test. And we're talking about a colonoscopy for those of you who haven't figured it out yet.
Yeah.
Mama Blair's saying at least you don't have to show bifocal lines anymore. I do not know who she was referring to with the bifocals, but
I got them.
you got.
I got bifocals. There's no
Well, I
question.
do recall, like my and I'm not implying as an age thing here, Mama Blair, so don't send the clan after me. The clan Blair are showing up with pitchforks on my friggin' porch. I do recall, like, my grandfather having bifocals, and back then it was literally they cut 2 lenses and chopped them together and put them in the frame. Wasn't one lens ground differently.
Yeah. Yeah.
Had
So,
like that had like that 2-inch zone of no fly zone where you can't see a damn thing because there's just ground glass there.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I am getting older. By the way, I'll make both of you happy. So between now and maybe the next show, if not, then the show after, the studio is going to go through a little bit of a remodel. The machine here that broadcasts the show is going to be relocated because got a new piece of equipment. Got myself a new video card. So,
Okay.
And I'm going to just move it to the other side of the room. And move the mixer to the other side of the room.
Okay.
And so, yep. So next show, expect lots of audio issues.
Yep. And no, we'll have no audio show. You'll have no audio issues. The next show will go off perfectly in March of 2026.
So,
Yes. March of 2026, that will be when I will have relocated somewhere and my studio will be in shambles.
no,
Perhaps. Well, let's see. 26 is going to be what?
you'll only be 3 years older.
3 years older. Okay, not quite there for retirement yet. 55 is my plan to.
See, now I could retire technically at 52. At 52, I could retire. I don't know.
Retire from the state.
Yeah.
Because then that's okay.
They have a rule of 85 and out. So you add your age plus your years of service, and if it comes up to 85, then you can hit the bricks.
Is it a modified rule of 85?
What do you mean?
Okay, so where I work has, I thought it was the rule of 75, right? So age plus years of service. However, it's a modified rule of 75, which states that at least 30 of the 75 must be years of service.
Oh, I'm sure there's a minimum service requirement, but I don't know what it is.
However,
And I don't care enough to look up in the manual.
things have changed enough that the rule of 75, modified or not, basically means squat
Yeah.
anymore. So,
Yeah. There are people that retire at 52 and then immediately start looking for another job, because they know that they cannot survive on their retirement, which is, roughly 50% of what their take-home pay was for the last 3 years, because we have a pension system here. And so, but yeah, I mean, even though I could retire at 52, I don't see myself doing it. I see myself going, probably at least 55, maybe 60. Just because I would go nuts. I'd have to either find another job or do something. And if I'm going to find another job, why don't I just stay in the one that I'm at? Why would I go and create another career?
no, see,
and
the
start from
idea
the beginning.
is you're not creating another career. You are actually getting a job. Hi, welcome to Walmart.
I'm not going to
My
go
name's
back to minimum wage.
My name's Shaggy.
That is one of the most applied for positions at Walmart, I'll have you know. So,
I know it is. I know. I'm already planning on name dropping it, like the. Apparently, my general manager when I left BJ's Wholesale Club is now the East Coast Regional Manager at the corporate office. So I plan on dropping her name when I retire and being like, "Yeah, I used to work for Lori Anderson. When she was my GM when I drove a forklift way back in the day. Can I be the guy stand here to do the receipt now?"
yes. Let's see here. Okie dokie. There you go. Have a nice day.
Let me just make sure. Okay, your Coca-Cola is all Coca-Cola in that case. Okay.
Yep. Diapers.
You didn't
check.
mix. I'm sorry, you forgot to scan your rotisserie chicken. Please go back to membership. That's gonna be my job. I'd
No,
say
you're-
the cart guy, but no, I don't
You're
want
not
that
pushing
job.
carts. You're not pushing carts at 60, Mike.
Maybe the guy that refills the propane. Then I can really just hang out there all day. Propane is perhaps one of the very cleanest energies that we have out here. I highly recommend it.
You're at a party. You go, I sell propane
Remember-
and propane accessories.
There you go. Propane. I remember the propane accessories.
Yes.
I used to say all the time, like growing up, my goal was to work until I could live comfortably off of my savings, because back then I didn't know about 401k. And then my job, I was going to quit and work at Blockbuster, because
Good.
at that point I will have seen so many movies, even back then, that I would be the great person. What are you looking for? What do you like? Well, let me give you some suggestions.
Well, that plan really had future-proof written all over it, didn't it?
Well, who knew? All right,
Actually, that was a side effect of me changing jobs that I didn't realize was a thing. So I do have a 401k, but I had to transfer the 401k from my previous employer.
Mm-hmm.
So I moved it to an IRA because it was just easier to do it that way. Well, then I found out, hey, if you got this lump of money sitting in a 401k, you can actually, there are stocks that you can buy that give you things just for owning their stock. So on my cruise, I just went ahead and bought some cruise stock, so I got an extra $100 of onboard credit just because I bought some stock.
Okay, so
I was
here
like,
is
okay. Well, this is a
Well, how
a
much?
fun new thing.
How much stock did you buy though?
100 shares.
so you got $1 for every share.
You have to have 100 shares to get the credit.
The perks. Okay.
Yeah.
So I just found a list of 15 in-demand jobs for seniors. Let's see if you would want to take any of these on. Okay.
Let's try it.
All right. Teaching. Becoming a substitute teacher.
Hell no. Not unless I am living in a state where teachers are allowed to carry guns. Because damn it, I've seen some of these videos where teachers are getting beat up
Yeah.
for enforcing the school rules. That ain't gonna be me, Jack.
That one that got knocked unconscious and broken ribs for taking away a switch.
Yeah. Nope. Not gonna be me.
College instructor.
Possibly.
Yeah.
Because the kids are dumb enough to pay to go to school. They're there to learn.
No, they're not. They're there to party. Their parents were dumb enough to pay for their school.
Okay, well,
Most
fine.
of them. Administrative assistant.
I am not going to be somebody's bitch.
It includes secretaries, receptionists, information clerks. Oh, that's what I want to do. Work at an information booth when I'm a senior. Although that'd be a great place to tell people stories.
Hold on now, because they have information booths everywhere, okay? So, like,
At
you're
the
rolling
airport?
out being the information guy at the Disney counter that Colin is going to do when he retires.
Yeah.
So, so information, maybe, depends on where. I'm not going to work at, like, the mall kiosk. That's not going to happen. Yeah. Can you tell me where Hot Topic is? Up your ass. That's where it is. Go. Get away from me. Pull up your pants.
You don't need any more nose rings.
Yeah, Shaggy and I would be the absolute most annoying data entry workers of all time. because Shaggy would be calling up the help desk saying, "Hey, yeah, I'm having trouble with the
My
entry application.
my
What's the
mouse
problem?
ball needs
Well, this
cleaned."
field over here isn't meeting spec 57.26 of the accessibility standards."
Why is this tab order so stupid? Nursing jobs as personal care aides, registered nurses, home health aides.
No.
No.
Mama Blair writes in, apparently I am just subconsciously on a mission to piss somebody off tonight. Mama Blair says, I was an admin assistant for most of my career and I was no one's bitch. Well, listen, times have changed. I've seen administrative assistants now.
Yeah.
They're treated different. It's a lot different.
And it definitely
Yeah,
depends
but-
on where you work and who you work for. Because there are some places where the administrative assistants run the place,
Yes.
and then there are other places where it's still circa Mad Men. All right?
Yeah.
I mean, literally, her job was to run the place. We don't know. I have no idea why she had that title, because she literally, it wasn't just that she was like, here's the boss and here's the woman who was going around. No, she literally was running the program.
Here's another one. Real estate agent. You gonna go get your real estate license and start brokering deals when you're
Here's the problem.
60 plus?
Here's the problem with that. The problem with me being a real estate agent is I would turn into Leo Getz. I absolutely would.
Okay.
Okay. Listen. Hello? Did you tell them about the neo-good thing? Full disclosure, I gotta tell these people about these things. Or from like Step Brothers, where I'd be like hiring people. I'd be like all shady about it.
I'd be the old guy who is showing a house to a young couple who's just looking for the first house, and I go, wouldn't buy this one. Got to go upstairs to go to the bathroom. You want nice ranch level where you don't got to deal with stairs. I'd never sell a multi-story house.
I'd be the real estate agent taking bribes from the neighbors. Be like, okay, listen, you tell me what kind of neighbors you want, and I'll make sure to filter out some of these offers here, but it's going to cost you.
I'd be the one that works for the buyers who go, okay, listen, let's grease some palms of your crappy neighbors, make them behave for a couple days while we bring some suspect buyers over here. You know,
what is that? Funny Farm?
Yeah, exactly. Next one, part-time sales job. Yeah, you want to be a retail worker at J.C. Penney's?
No, I would be a car salesman though.
Really? You want to become a lowlife? You want to throw people's cars up on the roof until they buy a new one?
No,
because
car salesman.
Car salesman is going to basically just be a paperwork person now.
It's high pressure sales though, because if you don't
Not if you're retired.
If you're no, every car salesman I know has always worked on commission. If you don't make the sales, you don't keep the job.
Right, but when you're retired, you just want somewhere that just give you free coffee and let you, talk to people for a bit.
Talk to people all day. So you're just
as long as you're not.
You're going to bounce from one dealership to another.
As long as you're not the finance guy, because that's the sleazy role. Just being a salesman.
Yeah, the finance guy. That's the guy when they get you in the back room and he closes the door and he's like, "Okay, listen.
Oh, well, you need the Simonize.
I can sell you the Simonize. I can sell you the lifetime car washes. And you want the extended warranty. Right?
Oh, and you want that ceramic coating.
Ceramic coating, of course. Oh, window etching.
Yeah.
Need serial numbers etched on your windows.
Yeah, what happens if somebody steals your
car?
And
your catalytic converter, that's the new one. We etch right into your catalytic converter because people steal. Anyway.
Driver jobs. So truck drivers, taxi drivers, chauffeurs, and bus drivers.
Let's think about
You want to be a party bus driver when you're old and crotchety?
I don't want to be a bus driver. I don't want to be a bus driver, period. Because that could be like school bus and hell no.
I was thinking like bachelorette parties, or these winter shopping trips for old ladies.
No, because there's cleanup involved with these things, man.
Yeah,
that's not happening. You know how hard it is to get glitter out of Naugahyde? I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it.
But taxi driver, Mike.
Cab driver. I would be a taxi driver if it was like Taxi Cab Confessionals.
I would if it was like DC Cab.
Well, if that means I got to ride around with somebody like Gary Busey, I don't think I could do that.
No, I drive with Mr. T.
I don't know if I could do that either.
In the pimp taxi.
Hearing all of his gold change over every pothole and bump. Oh, no, that would drive me nuts, man.
Joining the clergy in retirement.
Let's just move on from that one.
All your life, and now you gonna turn to God? Nah, you can't make it up in the end.
Move on.
Providing.
Wait a second though. Actually, I would actually put my ordainment to good use, and I would consider doing
weddings,
doing weddings and stuff. Then finally. Actually do it.
Like put your name out there in papers going, hey, want to get hitched? Hire.
I am the one-stop shop budget DJ and officiant.
And then you could get some of those little Instamatic cameras and say, and photographer.
Or maybe I buy a photo booth off of Temu.
Yeah.
There you go. Anyway.
Providing childcare in retirement.
No comment. Something just tells me no comment on that one. Just move on because move on.
Taking on a management role. Oh, here it is. Before retirement. They shift into new positions as managers just prior to retirement. Okay, well, that just means that they want to bump up their retirements. That's pretty common actually with the state is you move from a union position to a non-union position like your last 4 years. Because then you're locked into the 4-year contract. They average your retirement based off of your last 3 years. So you get that salary bump for your retirement. I mean, that's working the system.
Yep.
So
they actually banned that in that type of move in New Jersey for the pension system.
Yeah?
Yes.
Yeah, they haven't. I don't think they have in Illinois yet.
No, because too many people take advantage of it.
Yes. Now, there is a similar job of just being a professional interim boss.
Yeah.
You know, lose your boss and you're trying to find a new one. I'll be the manager for 2 months.
Here you go. Use your
Here's my
experience as a management consultant.
I was going to say, I will be a consultant. That's what I will do. I will walk around and tell you how to stream. I will be the Bobs.
Mm-hmm.
I'll walk around and tell you how to streamline your business.
Yep, an efficiency consultant.
Or, you know, doing some stupid stuff like, okay, I'm going to be that guy that everybody in town calls when their internet gets screwed up. So I come over and I set up old people's routers and cell phones and all of that, you know, or do like repairs.
Oh, you don't want to
stuff.
do that. Trust me, you don't want to do that because then you're help desk forever.
I'm already help desk, whatever. Mama Blair says, how about teachers' aides or substitute teachers? Yeah, that was number one on the list. And times have changed now. And yeah, my comment to that, forget hazard pay. I'd said I'd have to be allowed to carry a gun.
Yep.
Because
become a writer in retirement.
write about what?
Gonna,
That's the key.
Gonna write short stories. You're gonna become a blogger. Engineering positions. Musician gigs.
I'm an engineer now. I could retire and become like a DJ at the bar. Be a karaoke DJ. There you go.
Yeah. Yep. So that was your list of 15 in-demand jobs for retirees.
Oh, they're missing bartender.
Well,
old
bartender
people don't want to stay up that late.
Oh, bartender at the Knights of Columbus.
Those are usually members. So.
Yeah, well, yeah, but they instead of paying dues, they hang out at the bar.
Yeah.
So it's something to do. Yeah, karaoke DJ at age 65. Nobody's going to want to see a 65-year-old singing Marky Mark, Good Vibrations. It's going to get old kind of quick.
Yeah.
What are you rapping Informer for by Snow? That doesn't. All right, so speaking of DJing,
you know that's ignorant of down.
Since the last show,
yeah,
I had an event that I had to DJ.
Yes.
This
How
was
it?
one of my first. Oh well, it was. We had a great time. It was for the rescue that we adopted Tucker from. Actually, I had two, I think, since the last show.
Cool.
I had one for the local cat rescue that does TNR in the neighborhood. So that was a tricky tray, a smaller one at the Knights of Columbus. I don't recall them putting out a number of what they raised, but they had a pretty good night. And that was right in town. So real quick, finished up quick, 200-something baskets. Everybody had a good time. The other one was a little further away. That was for the rescue we adopted Tucker from. They raised about $8,000 last I had heard. I don't know if that was the final tally or not. And everybody had a great time at that one, too. That one was only about 35 baskets. But somehow it seemed to take much longer, which left everyone scratching their heads as to how did you get through 200 baskets at the other one? And the answer is simple. They had young runners move quickly, and lots of them.
Mm-hmm.
So, folks, here's a free tip. If you're going to have a basket raffle or a tricky tray, call like the local Boy Scouts or something, or Girl Scouts, or the high school athletic team that needs community service hours, and get them to be your basket runners.
Yeah.
Because they're quick. But it did make me realize one thing, Shaq, that I need to work smarter and not harder, and I need to lighten up my gear.
Yeah.
So I actually have powered speakers coming tomorrow, because I'm tired of lugging around the big old 15-inch Yamaha with the amp, and my back just can't do it anymore, man.
Yeah, that's why I put mine on wheels.
Let's say I thought about that, but I have them in the powered speakers. I have in bags, so they're actually easy to carry.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, for my stepson's wedding, I bought myself a little, because where they were getting married, they didn't have any power. And I thought, well, I know they want music, and they were just going to bring one of those little bitty like Bluetooth speakers, and I'm like, I can do better than that. Plus, it's an excuse to buy something. So I bought myself this. It's not huge. It's got an 8-inch woofer on it, but it's a decent sized speaker, and it's battery powered. It's Bluetooth, FM. It's got 2 1/4-inch inputs on it, and I actually played it in the backyard the other day. It lasted I played it for 3.5 hours, and it didn't even show that the battery was low or anything, and I just played it Bluetooth, but still, it's a nice little box just for if you want music and you don't want to have to pull a cord out anywhere. So I used it for their event. So
I have one of the tailgate speakers over here, like the original Ion tailgate speaker, and I had to replace the battery in it. I replaced it with a
LiPo? Yep.
Yeah, LiPo.
Lithium iron phosphate. Yep.
Yes. And the thing will last 10 hours easily. Yeah. And that's good for like backyard parties or small events where you just want to. I loaned it to a friend for her 50th birthday, and it was just like a lunch or dinner kind of thing, and she just hooked that up with the iPod, left it there, let it play the entire playlist, like 80s music. Come on, old school DJ Cisco writing in. No, listen, dude, if you're talking old school like Henny the DJ, I can't do it, man. I want to DJ at bars that have like the system where you just come and you bring your USB and just hook it up and use their
When I first started DJing, I borrowed equipment from a buddy from my old neighbor who had a band, and the only speakers that he had were dual 15-inch woofers and this big ass horn on the top. So I had to haul 2 of those. They were about 5 feet tall apiece and probably weighed 120 pounds each. And I borrowed his amp, and I swear it was 150 pounds because it was old school, like 70s amp. I mean, and it was like carpeted, wooden box crate amp. Mm-hmm. And, then I still had to carry everything else. And that's when I was bringing my personal, like, PC rig with me. I didn't have laptops. So, I had a truck full of stuff, and it was just barely enough. And we didn't have LED lights. I rented lights from a place, and they were the old school par cans and everything. So, I mean, it was just massive when I first started doing stuff. And
I actually lost out on a Sweet 16 party. The PTO president that got me my first house residency at the grammar school here in town. He reached out and asked me if they were doing a Sweet 16 for his daughter. He's like, would you be willing to DJ? I led with this. I said, listen, if you're looking for lights, smoke, and all that kind of pomp and circumstance, I'm not your guy because I don't own any of that, and I'm not. Mm-hmm. So if you're just looking for good music with a personality, and I could do that. We can talk. And the sad part is the dude never even replied to me to tell me otherwise, and I'm like, oh, I wonder whatever happened. Oh, well, the party was supposed to be last weekend, so I guess I didn't get the job.
Yeah. Yeah, I had one girl who was asking me about what I did for weddings and was all about, well, do you have all these different pictures of all these different weddings you did and all that, do you have videos? And I'm just like, I don't think I'm your guy. I'm like, no, I think you're probably looking for more than what I'm comfortable delivering. I think you'd probably be better suited by going with somebody else. It's like, I don't.
If you think the DJ is going to come and decorate your wedding for you,
I'm just like, it's not me. it's not me.
Do you all do ice sculptures and luges with your package? Because I would like them too. Can you do that?
No, I can't. I hold on. I'll show you the extent of my. That's the extent of my light show.
That's your pyrotechnics display, huh?
That's my pyrotechnics right there.
I mean, I have lights. I have some lights, and I have a fog machine. But the problem is, what I have found is, I can't. The venues don't want you to use fog.
No, because
Yeah.
it sets off the smoke detectors.
Yeah, exactly, and that's a huge cost and everything else. Plus, if you have what these, couples don't understand is, you've got grandma and grandpa in the audience who don't breathe well to begin with, and now you're pumping fog into the room.
So here's the thing: what the real DJs do now, it's not fog, it's dry ice.
Yeah,
that they're making the fog with. It's not the chemical stuff like we grew up with,
right?
Inhaling, and probably I'm surprised we don't all have like a third eye, but it's different.
Well,
and
some of it is, but some of it's still like haze. But it just depends on what they're trying to do.
I got a couple of cheap par lights just to light up underneath my table, basically. Right. That's about all it'll do. But I'm not investing in that. Now, when I retire, I don't know, maybe I'll invest in some kind of like backdrop, and I could do a projector that'll do all fancy stuff behind me. But,
I was looking at
something easy.
Speaking of Temu, I was looking at Temu. Temu has an LED blanket. Is that what I was looking at?
LED blanket.
Yeah, it was a backdrop. I don't know what it was. It was basically.
Okay, that makes more sense. An LED blanket, like
Okay, I'm watching TV on my bed.
No, what are you talking about?
It's like this. It's like multiple strips of LEDs, and they
Like
make
a curtain?
patterns and crap. Yeah, like a curtain, and they can do like patterns, like a Pac-Man going across it. It's like an LED wall, but it's like the cheap Chinese version of an LED wall. I'll have to find it.
So, Mike, when you retire and you do your all-inclusive wedding thing, it could be Butterstown weddings. It's all you do the invitations, you do the decorations.
You do the bridal party gifts.
Kim can do all the favors, the bridal party. Yes, that's right. Okay, there you go. Yeah. Cisco just got a drone from Temu. Okay. The one thing I will say, so Temu stuff, the quality is questionable. I think we established that.
Yeah.
But it gets here fast. Now, my last Temu order was late, so I got the $5 credit.
Ah, look at you.
So I found out what was going on with Temu. So they're basically doing the Walmart thing. They're squeezing all the little factories there in China, and they're going up to them and saying, "Oh yeah, you make this? We would like to sell that on Temu." I said, "Great, that costs $10." No, it doesn't. It costs $3. They're like, "Oh, okay." And so all these factories are making stuff for Temu, but they're actually losing money. Temu is losing money because they're subsidizing all of the shipping, trying to get themselves large enough. They're doing exactly what Amazon did back before Amazon was making money. They're just spending money to get people to buy stuff until they're big enough that they can start charging the actual prices.
There you go, Mike. That's what it is.
And it's going to look nothing like that.
So
see, all right. So, yeah, say it. Nope.
Oh, that's what you need. It'll look exactly like that, where it's just little bitty strings, and you better be in a pitch black room.
It'll look like an equalizer behind you, but for $68, nope, don't need it. Don't need it. I'll lose money trying to.
I mean, you can build your own, but why? When Temu has
okay, so here's the problem with Temu. Like, I'll go on Temu and I'll just start looking at stuff and I'll be like, "Oh, that's only $1." Well, it's only. Next thing I know, I got like 50 things in my cart, and I'm like, I don't need any of these. I start second guessing, and then I got that last delivery, and Kim's like, you ordered from Temu? I said, yeah, well, it was late. It was a while ago. And she said, well, I wanted something. I wish I knew. I would have told you. I'm like, well, okay, well, tell me what it is. Maybe I'll do another order or whatever. Everything is smaller than it appears in the mirror. What? Well, what? We still talking about Temu here, or do you need to call in and talk about this? I mean,
but yeah, I mean it's it's no different than Wish or anybody else.
Yeah, I bought a flag for my cubicle. The flag that says
you bought a flag.
We don't do these.
What are you doing? What are you doing?
It's not a country flag.
Who are you hustling in on? Huh?
No, it's not a country flag.
What kind of
It's
flag?
a message flag. It's the flag that says we don't do these things because they're easy. We do these things because we thought they were easy.
Okay, so you're
you got
quote
jokes.
of the day, man.
You got jokes now. Huh?
All
You
right,
got jokes. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
funny man.
It
Funny-
well portrays everything we do as programmers. It's like
Funny flag, man. That's Colin's a funny flag, man. So
I'm definitely not getting lots of flags like Shaggy because I don't have anything to cover up to protect the privacy of my other customers.
Or artwork, apparently.
Well, it looks like you got a mural back there now.
yeah, that's
what's going on?
It's one of the grandkids. You know,
Okay.
one of the activities to keep them quiet is to have them come down here and draw on the whiteboard. So I just haven't cleaned it off. That, and I was designing a piece of a program, and I haven't cleaned that off either yet. So, yeah.
All right. So we've got a bunch of stuff. Well, not really a bunch of stuff, but we have stuff on the white sheet, and there are some things that I think we need to discuss here.
Yes.
So it has been a month since, to the day, it's been a month since we last were on the air.
Yeah.
And yes, that we've talked about why, but I'm going to call it to task here. I believe someone on this show has gotten into the political lobbying realm
You know, I
in an
agree.
effort to lure a specific company from one state to another to make it more convenient for this person to
take time
frequent
off.
this company.
Yeah, I agree.
Because when I think of this company,
I think of this person.
well, no, I think of this state. When I think of Disney, the first place I think of is, if Disney wasn't in Florida, I think they'd be a great fit in Illinois.
Yeah. Mickey Mouse and corn go together so well.
Mickey ear-shaped horseshoes, actually, the product sells itself,
Yeah,
okay?
pretty
That's
much.
the billion-dollar idea
Well-
that would cause Disney to want to be there.
Well, except for this development is going up near Chicago. So you have to think of Mickey with two guns and a gun in each hand. More
Well-
Yosemite Sam than Mickey Mouse, really.
Also covered with snow.
Yeah.
But they need to do this quickly because in 30 days, Chicago will be closing for practically an entire week to host a NASCAR road race.
Yeah.
In downtown Chicago.
Yep. You got
And that might actually get me to watch a NASCAR race.
You got to jump the river. We're gonna
Watch it
gonna
this
put
time
up
because
the
it's
bridges, and you got to jump
I
the river.
doubt they're going to come back. The cars are actually going to run mufflers for the first time. They're putting mufflers on 600 horsepower NASCAR race cars because
They got to meet
people
emission
in
standards.
Chicago said these cars might be too loud. So NASCAR, in
Have they never
their
been to
great
Chicago
wisdom, said,
under the L when it comes through?
we will put mufflers on these cars. The great city of Chicago has a district by the park where there are plenty of vendors and restaurants and shops and what have you. NASCAR has said, you cannot be open because you are in a critical area of the road course. We will pay you approximately a week's income because you can't be open
For one day,
for like 3 days.
3 days. What does Monte Carlo get when they close their roads?
Well,
That's
you're
F1.
talking about that's F1. F1 is ridiculous as far as like the amount of spending going on.
Yeah, they
Right.
they
There was
make
an
more money when it's there.
An article popped up about F1 where there was a wreck and they had to use a crane to lift the car off the track because of where it was, and it got so high. Next thing you know, everybody's got cameras taking pictures of the underside, because apparently the underside of an F1 car is the most guarded secret to the aerodynamic properties of that car.
Uh-huh.
And everybody's looking at it saying, now we know why they were so fast.
Now, this is reminding me of a very, very old video game that
Spy
I
Hunter.
wish someone would bring back. Midtown Madness.
What the Faggot Beefy? No, that was Midnight Madness. What? Never heard of Midtown Madness.
Oh, it was 2 games out from Microsoft that you basically were racing around inside of real cities.
Okay.
Okay,
It wasn't terribly realistic, but it was more fun that way.
So let's see here. So, oops. 11.
They also had a monster truck madness that was very similar, except you had a monster truck.
Okay, so here is the course layout for the NASCAR in Chicago.
Oh, they're also making them turn in
Yes.
2 different directions.
Yes, they have to turn left and right.
A sharp turn too.
Yeah.
I mean, that point right there in the middle, that really does feel kind of dangerous.
What?
I'm sure there's a big block there, but you're gonna have those cars, going directly at each other.
What, here? No.
Right there in the middle.
Does it go? Yeah.
You mean between 1 and 6?
Turns 1 and 6.
Yeah, I don't know that they'll be that close together.
I have no idea. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying there's probably going to be better. It's just the fact that there are going to be cars. Oh no, it's going the other direction.
Yeah.
Okay, never mind.
So, and I don't
know because
think they're going opposite directions.
They're
Right. They're going opposite directions.
all right.
I was thinking they'd be going around the other way. If they're going the other way, then they'd be going towards the center, not driving from the center. Well, I guess they are. No, I'm sorry. They are doing it to the left and right.
So
Okay.
they're going to start off at the Fountain Club.
Yeah.
Head up through towards Lakefront Green. Go around DeSable Lakeshore Drive. Come back in on South Columbus Drive, East Balibo Drive. Make their way towards East Congressional Plaza Drive, South Michigan, East Jackson Drive, and then end up back in front of Fan Plaza. And
All right,
that's
so
the course.
while you have this up, let's. So yes, so from turns 12 into turn 1, from past the start finish line, and from turns 5 to turn 6, coming down South Columbus. Well, actually, they're both on South Columbus. Those are the 2 longest straightaways, and the cars are heading at each other going into those turns.
Right.
So,
But
yes, that is potentially dangerous. That being said, I don't know exactly how close they are, and I'm sure they put something up between them. Now,
Yeah.
the president's
I'm not saying it
paddock
actually is
club-
dangerous. I'm just saying it is interesting
no,
to see them going towards each other.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a disaster, to be quite honest. But President's Paddock Club, those seats are going for, and this is in downtown freaking Chicago. Tickets are going for $3,000 a ticket in the Paddock Club.
yeah, I mean, when I go to Chicago, I walk down Michigan Avenue. So, it's definitely browsable or walkable. So, Yeah.
And
I don't know that I've
and
ever
is
been to
that-
Fan Plaza, though, when I'm going. Maybe I don't go that far south when I'm meandering downtown. But, in fact, I'm pretty sure I don't, because I don't think I've ever seen East Congressional Plaza.
Now, is that actually a river that
No,
East
there's-
Jackson and...
no, this is not a river.
Okay.
I think that's a train.
I
believe that's
okay,
train
yeah,
tracks.
yeah. All right. Now that you say it, yeah, I can make that out. It actually would be kind of cool if it was a river, but
I really think they missed the mark by not putting it at some point over the river and having the drawbridges at least partially up, so that the cars had to jump the river at some point.
Right? That would be...
I mean, that would be awesome. And come on, tell me you don't want to see a NASCAR car jump the Chicago River. Everybody wants to see that. I mean, real life Dukes of Hazzard? Come on, everybody wants to see that. People
just
would
have
pay
a-
extra to be there.
I have a very sneaking suspicion this is going to be a one and done.
Well, or if it is a success, then they're going to find more cities around the U.S. to have this at. And maybe we can tear down all of the NASCAR courses and just do it in cities.
No, that's not going to happen.
Yeah, we can turn all of the NASCAR courses.
Considering
into regular
NASCAR
races.
actually owns most of the tracks that they race at,
Maybe this will be a new brand of NASCAR. We'll call it, Urban NASCAR. That's what we should do.
so I'm going to send you a picture.
Uh-huh.
Let me just get it.
So,
Because this is, since we're talking about that,
mm-hmm.
this is what I have recommended many times over if they're going to do this. And I think they should. This is... You can throw that up.
Yep, working on it. Give me 1 second. And I'll be right there. Ugh.
Now, this is an older map, if you will. But this was a proposed layout, and I believe they may have actually run this either kart or IndyCar. This is in New Jersey, and as you can see, Giant Stadium, which is now MetLife Stadium. Continental Air Arena is actually now the Izod Center, but it's still there, and I don't know if it's still called the Izod Center. But they should do this. They want to have a race in New York, New Jersey? There you go. There's a road course for you.
Yep.
And as incentive, I will DJ. There you go.
There you go. For a modest fee. You'll give them a discount, right?
I will DJ for VIP tickets. That's it. That's all. I just want a box. That's all.
All right. So that's all it takes. That's all it takes. Well, that's good news, Mike. I agree. So, yeah. Let's see here. Something else, Mike, that you put up there. We've talked before on the show about the tipping culture. Now, we're not talking about that culture is at a critical tipping point where it's going down the toilet. What we're talking about here is the culture of who you tip, how much you tip, when you tip, and that to some degree it's a crapshoot whether you're supposed to tip or not, and how we all agree that it should just be like Europe and what you pay is what you pay, and you don't tip jack. Just pay the people a living wage, and let's get away from this tipping garbage. But Mike, you put up an article which, with the explosion in AI recently, begs the question of, is this okay? Is this what we should be doing or not?
Oh, no. Look, okay. This absolutely is not okay. I'm not going to take this. I'm not standing for this. The whole, when a self-checkout lane is suggesting a tip, that's a problem. Especially when it's the self-checkout at Walmart, where they're asking, would you like to leave a tip?
So, and to be
Let's
clear,
stop for a
folks,
sec.
we're not talking about a donation to charity or a
No.
roundup for
No.
Kids Food Pantry or a please rate our service, which all of those things are equally as annoying. We're not even talking about hey, for $1 we'll give you a password to go through a secret door where you won't be harassed by people just outside the door selling Girl Scout cookies or T-shirts for underprivileged youth or anything like that. We're not talking about those useful things. We're talking about something completely different, where you want to tip a computer.
All right, so I have a question. I want to get your guys' thoughts on this one. So a lot of the smaller restaurants, the independent restaurants and what have you, they're using like Square or
Yep.
similar for, I call them the iPad checkouts.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
If you go to a restaurant and pick up an order, like a pizza place, that you called in the order and you drive there and you pick it up,
Mm-hmm.
do you leave a tip when you pay?
Not anymore.
I didn't used to leave a tip ever. I have gotten to the point where I'm like, you know what? If I have $1 or $2 in my wallet, just the random ones, sometimes I'll throw it in the tip jar, but I'm not putting it on my card.
I was tipping during COVID days. Because I was like, okay, you guys are coming in to make pizzas for me when this world is shut down. Okay. I have a good job that isn't affected by all this. Okay, fine. I will send out more tips to the food workers.
So you think just because the pandemic is over, they're no longer COVID warriors?
I'm saying they are the COVID warriors have moved on to new jobs, and these are just the people who didn't get any other jobs, which there are many jobs out there. So anyway, no, I'm not going to give you a tip for
I do agree with
handing me a
Colin.
pizza.
So what I will say is, like during COVID, I found myself tipping more than I would normally.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of lines up with Colin that I normally wouldn't tip, but I would tip when I went to pick up, a couple of bucks. If someone actually took my order, like when I used to go to the diner and I would place a to-go order, and I'd sit at the counter and have a cup of coffee while I waited, I would tip the waitress that took my order.
Okay.
Yes.
What if it's,
Because she actually did something. She actually bagged it up for me. Okay, fine.
Yeah.
what if it's curbside, where you called in the order, but then you parked outside and they walked it out to you?
I don't do that.
You don't do that?
But yes,
I don't do
if
that.
I'm
We do
doing that,
that.
then I'm telling. If I'm going to any normal place that isn't a fast food, like if I decide to go to IHOP and have them give me a take home order, okay, I know that it's the wait staff who actually take the food and stick it on all those plastic boxes that IHOP uses, which is an amazing amount of packaging. If you guys have never gotten an IHOP to go order, it's like going to a Tupperware party. But yeah, no, I definitely tip for that.
Okay.
But
All right.
Yeah, I'm not going to
So-
tip at a Pizza Hut or a McDonald's or
Right.
etc.
So I would go if I pay, and I'm kind of like, if I pay cash and I get like $1 or some change back, I'll put that in the tip jar. If I'm paying by card, I do not. And a lot of the places here in Jersey are still pulling, and this is another one that really will work my nerve. COVID's apparently made it okay for everyone to finally start saying they're passing on that surcharge.
Yeah.
From the 2.9% surcharge if you pay by card.
I've seen signs that say Our processor has upped their fee, so your bill will be higher. Or Square increased their percentage. So, if you're paying by card, you will be paying more.
My problem with that one, right? So anyway, if I'm paying by card, no tip. I'm sorry, I'm not doing a tip for coming in and picking up my order that I placed on the website, and I didn't even have to talk to anybody.
Mm-hmm.
I'm here. I'm tipping myself by not tipping you. If we're getting businesses around here, and I may have talked about this on the show before. It's not just restaurants that are doing this now. There's a certain veterinarian that I'm aware of that is putting a surcharge on vet bills if you are paying with a credit card. And he doesn't take checks. So you're either paying cash or credit card.
And the thing is, credit card fees are the cost of doing business.
Thank you.
It is the cost of doing business and allowing that payment type in. If you don't want to accept that cost, then don't accept that payment type. Nothing says you have to accept credit cards, all right? But you will work yourself out of being able to service a lot of people. Don't get me wrong. There's a couple of bars around here that don't take credit cards. They don't take debit cards. They're cash only. They have an ATM in the bar, and that charges you a fee every time you use it. That's how they make the money out of that. But then at least they don't piss you off with a service charge on your credit card. Because people understand, hey, if I go to an ATM that's not mine, I'm going to pay a service fee. That they understand. They're used to that. It's typical. So those bars I kind of understand. But, doing business has a cost. And guess what? The way you recoup that cost is by the price of your product or service. And you don't ostracize one form of payment over another. You should just set a damn price that takes care of that. And guess what? If the person paid cash, you make a little bit more profit.
Yeah, minimum is fine. I'm okay with minimum. You want to tell me that you have to buy at least X amount of stuff to get, or you have to get a surcharge?
Yeah,
cool.
And
that's fine.
There's gas stations here that'll say, listen, we have a $10 minimum if you're paying with a card, because otherwise it costs us more to do it. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with you setting some boundaries around using a card, but what I'm not okay with is two different prices based upon how I'm paying. That's like saying, well, we're going to give men one price and we're going to give women another price.
So gas stations in New Jersey.
It's cashism. That's what it is.
Gas stations,
I'm going to call it. It's cashism.
Gas stations in Jersey, which are screwed up anyway since we can't pump our own gas, but they have always had, or most places have, a cash price and a credit price. And yes, of course, the credit price is higher.
Yeah.
But they're up front. There's no surcharge. You're very clear about it. These places, there's a 2.9% surcharge. So now I got to do freaking algebra to figure out exactly, and don't let me calculate that you put the surcharge on the tax, because then we're going to be fighting people, because the tax, you don't tip on the tax either. Be clear about that. You don't tip on the tax. Cisco says, Cisco said pretty much the same thing Colin says. For curbside or takeout, we leave a tip because they still get our food ready. Not like a real tip, but a couple of bucks. Not at fast food, though. No.
Yeah, because the whole idea behind
fast food workers are not tipped employees. So if you go to McDonald's and the thing says, would you like to leave a tip? Hell no.
No.
I'm sorry.
The whole thing behind tipping at a restaurant, especially a sit-down one, is because as long as you are at that table, you are stopping someone else from being at that table. So your tip should be proportional to how long you stayed at that table.
Well, that's an interesting
Mike,
take on that.
Yeah, because my wife...
I understand your logic, but I don't think I've ever related that part to tipping, I've related that to being courteous and not
Yeah.
sitting there forever if people are waiting for tables, but not to the size of the tip. That
Right,
if
because the idea of the,
don't ask
the
for
idea
the
of the
check.
tip
Once
is
you ask for the check, then you should be be on your way out.
Yeah, but
the idea of the tip is not to say that you're using up a table. The idea of the tip is to say that, in some degree, the wait staff works for you,
well,
and you're paying them.
it
to
all depends
do
because
stuff for you.
because my wife will say that she tips bigger when she goes out when she used to go out with her sister-in-law from her ex-husband. When they went out to breakfast and they would catch up with each other, they might sit at a table for an hour and a half. Well, in that time, that waitress may have been able to cycle through 2, maybe even 3 tables worth of people. Okay, so the tip that they leave needs to be big enough to make up for the tips she's not getting because that table is not cycling through.
Well,
I can see that.
If
Place to visit.
there's a wait, like if you're sitting there at the end of the night and there's no people waiting for tables,
Right,
and you're
yeah.
just there, all right, you're not taking money out of her pocket. If
True.
anything, you're putting a little bit more because maybe you will order another round of drinks. And, Oh, we're sitting here, we're having, it's a good topic of conversation. Let's get another round before we go. Okay. Or let's get dessert. Let's get a snack.
Let's get
do
smashed
something.
and then drive home. Yeah, that's what we want to do here.
But for breakfast, you're sitting there and she keeps bringing you coffee. You're not paying for all that coffee.
True.
No. Yeah. So
That's a good point.
So I like the idea of saying, well, if you're going to do that, then you should go ahead and pay extra for all those extra free cups of coffee she brought you. Or he
But
brought
to, to Shaggy's point earlier, I don't like the term living wage because there are too many variables around that. All right.
Yeah.
If wait staff weren't tipped employees, that they got minimum wage and you, as a result, or got paid like other workers, not tipped workers, so they're not making $2 an hour.
Mm-hmm.
If wait staff got paid hourly wage, then tipping would not be needed. Wait staff would be paid more.
Yeah.
And people would want to be waiters because waiters get paid more. Now, will you still get tips? Probably, because the mindset doesn't change overnight. People will still give tips for excellent service. Maybe on parties of 6 or more, there's a 10% surcharge because it's more of a pain in the ass, something to that effect.
Yeah.
A lot of restaurants around here, 8 or more, they automatically, this pisses me off no end, they automatically put in 20%.
Oh, here some restaurants it's 30.
Okay.
No.
Yeah.
No, it should be
That's ridiculous
15.
here.
I'm okay with a larger party getting the tip automatically put in, but have that spelled out clear and what the percentage is, because 20% and your service is terrible. Well, I don't know.
Yeah. If you're gonna mandate a tip on a large party, you better make sure you put good waitresses on that party.
Agreed.
And you better make sure you put enough cooks in the kitchen to make sure food comes out when it's supposed to. I understand. Oh, there's the national labor shortage. But I'm sorry. Either have your place open or don't. If you don't have enough people to staff it, close the damn doors. All right? That's just the way that it is.
Well, restaurants around here will close off sections.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So in reality, they're only seating a quarter of their capacity, but that's because that's all the staff they have.
Yeah.
But there are other restaurants where there's still lines out the door. I don't understand this one for the life of me. The chain restaurants have lines out the door. The hometown mom and pop type restaurants that have much better food, even though it may be a little pricier, but you're getting more portion, no lines out the door.
Yeah.
I don't understand why people are waiting in line at Texas Roadhouse when there's a comparable family-owned steakhouse right down the road.
Have you had their butter biscuits?
Maybe they're running a sodium deficiency.
I mean,
Perhaps.
I mean, do you not
or
love?
MSG.
Does the family-owned business have peanuts that I can eat and throw on the ground? Because that is
Our
a bonus.
Texas Roadhouse doesn't do peanuts anymore.
Well, they are a bunch of pansies.
We were just there last night, and now that you mention it, there were no peanuts on the damn table. Where would it?
Boycott Bud Light and Texas Roadhouse. I'm telling you right now, we're boycotting them.
I'm a message
For the
to
same
people I was
reason.
with. It's like, hey,
But you know what I miss from childhood is we didn't just have restaurants that had peanuts. There are restaurants that you just took all the peanut shells and threw them on the ground. The floor of the restaurant was just carpeted with peanut shells.
that was
It was
Texas
wonderful.
Roadhouse when they first opened.
Yeah, but you can't do that anymore.
There's a big sign on the door: peanut dust in the warning. Peanut dust. Yeah. Well, listen, Texas Roadhouse needs to start handing out those patches that supposedly cure the peanut allergies,
Yeah.
which ironically is probably just a Band-Aid with some peanut butter in it.
As of 2016, they had been sued at least 3 times for their peanuts.
I stopped going there just because I got tired of how salty their food is.
And that's most places anymore. I hate to say it. They put salt in. They over season their food to make up for the reduced quantity that you're getting.
When my teeth start squeaking, no.
All right, so Mama Blair Kenna worked in a bakery. That changed my mind on tipping. Their tips were divided among all workers, bakers, servers, cooks, etc. They really counted on those tips, even though they were paid well enough. It was a real motivation to do a great job, and they were local. Well, so a couple things. Like when I put money in a tip jar at a place, I don't know if tips are being split or not. Even at restaurants, I don't know if the tip I give the waitress has to be split amongst bartenders and bus staff. So,
Well, let's see here.
I mean, I get it. I'm not discounting the personal experience here, but those are variables you got exposed to because of an inside connection. It's not something that you can easily figure out when you go to a place and factor that in when you're tipping.
So, Mike, I have a list here of 10 forgotten restaurants in New Jersey.
What is it with you and lists? Okay, what is this? To make me feel old? Go ahead.
Well, I'm just curious how many of these you know.
Go ahead, and then we'll.
I don't know how
I'll see
close
if I can.
to Tom's River you are.
Well, let's give it a try.
Old Time Tavern in Tom's River.
Don't know it.
Intersection of Route 9 and 37 in the
I
old
know
Dover
Route
Mall.
9. That's okay.
And then there was the Dover Diner.
Heard of it.
Winkleman's Restaurant in Lakewood.
Heard of it.
Circus Drive-In in Wall.
Heard of it.
Steak and Ale.
I loved steak and ale.
Not enough. They went bankrupt.
Yes.
The Sizzler, which even we know what the Sizzler is.
Sizzler was
that wasn't
awesome.
a local restaurant.
It's like
Everyone knows Sizzler. Yes. I was going to say now you're getting into more chains that.
Here's another one that it definitely wasn't a New Jersey thing. Fuddruckers. I mean, come on. Everybody knows what Fuddruckers was.
Fuddruckers was
briefly.
And here's another one. New Jersey exclusive. Howard Johnson's ice cream cocktail. Howard Johnson's, basically. Yeah,
Okay.
Nobody's ever heard of that. Oh, another one. Denny's. Oh.
Denny's is still around.
Nope. Evidently, Denny's is all gone.
No, there were Denny's all over the damn place.
It says there are 10 of the 24-hour restaurants left in New Jersey, mostly in the southwest part of the state.
Do you remember a couple years back you stayed in
There's none left
hotel.
in Monmouth.
So there's one right in East Brunswick on
Yeah.
by where you guys stayed.
Yeah. Chevy's.
Chevy's. Yes, I know it.
So yeah, those are the forgotten restaurants unique to New Jersey with like
I'm
6
disappointed.
chains.
So they mentioned like Steak and Ale, okay, and some of these other national chains. I'm disappointed that they didn't mention Ponderosa,
Yeah.
Beefsteak Charlie's.
No, I don't know that.
Did you have? You don't
No.
have Beefsteak Charlie's? Beefsteak Charlie's used to have a commercial. It was very similar to Ponderosa, where the guy came on. He had the handlebar mustache and the checkerboard apron, and he's like, "Come on down to our buffet, where all the beer, wine, and sangria you can drink." Because that was included with your buffet.
Wow.
Now, I
That was
wasn't old
nice.
enough to drink, but
Yeah.
I knew that was a good deal because I could get my damn grandparents, my alcoholic grandfather, to pay for dinner that way.
Well, we used to have a local called Mavericks, where Shaggy
Yeah,
and I
Mavericks.
spent many an hour.
There used to be a place that that really fueled my love for hot dogs. It was actually called Amazing Hot Dog, where they would take quarter-pound caseless Franks, wrap them in bacon, and deep fry them. That's how they were cooked. I don't need to go any further with that story. If you're not thinking that this is possibly the greatest idea ever, then we should probably just move on.
We will.
Because
Actually, let's talk about it. So, what is the weirdest idea for a restaurant you have locally?
the weirdest idea for a restaurant. Well, okay, so it's not really weird, but so we have some Korean barbecue around here, and to me that's kind of funny because it's right. So it's kind of funny, like you're paying all this money to cook your own food, which I never quite understood, but okay.
We have a steak place like that.
Yeah,
I'm getting
It's supposed
I'm
to be a
getting awful
high-end
damn
steak
tired
place.
of all these fusion places around us. All right, there are something like Asian fusion. Okay, so you have some like Hawaiian, Chinese mixed dish. Okay, kinda okay, but there are some things that shouldn't be fused, and I'll leave it at that.
So what Shaggy was just referring to, we have a steakhouse that has big charcoal fires. You know, this big pit with charcoal on it, and you can pay for them to cook your steak, or you can just cook your own steak yourself.
And
You buy the steak from them, and then you put it on the big grill.
And it's a highfalutin place. It's not like anything. I mean, like rich people go there. It's ridiculous. I went there and I think I ordered a drink and it was $12.
You mean an alcoholic drink?
Yeah, but it wasn't
Okay.
anything fancy. It was like a rum and coke. And I mean that doesn't sound like a lot for some areas. I know that would probably be like an easy $20 drink elsewhere, but around here that's like a $6 drink. So it was double the price of what it should have been. Yeah, we used to have a well, where was that buffet place that we used to go to? Old Country Buffet? Is that what we used to go to, Colin? Back when
we went here a couple times. Yeah, you're right.
When we were super fat.
Well, Old Country Buffet was like a national chain, wasn't it?
I don't know.
Back.
Because there was one down by us too. There was Old Country Buffet and there was Hometown Buffet, and I always wondered, are they the same?
related?
Are they different? What are they?
Yeah, and then we also used to have a place. It was originally called Shakey's Buffet, and then they closed out. But the guy who owned it started Diamond's Buffet. You know, I used to go there all the time when I was a kid, and yeah, that was a great place. But
that guy seriously is the greatest runner of a buffet.
Yeah,
You know, person who runs a buffet, he was amazing.
yeah, but evidently not at like running a business, just running a buffet. He could keep food on that buffet all day long. I don't think.
Yeah.
I think that was part of the problem, is it was fully stocked all the time. So, but yeah. All right.
I think they shut down just because he got too old.
Could be. I don't know. So, Mike.
What's Heritage House?
Oh, Heritage House. That was another buffet. Boy, we were good at buffets in this town. If we want
the greatest buffet.
It was all. It had lettering along the top of the building that just said smorgasbord.
Yeah.
That was where.
But there's this other place where instead of you going around the buffet, you stood in place and the buffet turned.
So, yeah, Heritage House is where my grandparents used to take me after baseball games. So, because they had a huge dessert buffet. Oh, it was awesome. Yeah, no wonder I'm still fat. Now we just have Golden Corral.
Yeah, well, COVID killed buffets. That's
My wife says she'll never go back to a buffet again. You know.
Oh, I absolutely will. I long for the day that I can go back to the Iron Skillet breakfast buffet at the truck stop.
Oh, see, Golden Corral used to have all you could eat prime rib. Oh, that was so good.
Something about prime rib from Golden Corral. Being that I am a beef snob,
it was good. It was good. It was good. All right. Now let's. We got our reviews to get to here in a second, but let's talk Al Pacino first, because old boy.
Oh God, we got to talk about who's the other one? De Niro and Pacino. What is it with these 80-year-old bastards having kids?
Well, didn't the boss just have another baby too?
I don't know. All right. So Al Pacino went ahead. He got his girlfriend pregnant. But here's the baller thing about it. He wanted a DNA test because he was like, "There's no way that I can have gotten you pregnant." He didn't even believe it, so he wasn't even trying. Meanwhile, De Niro was trying. And my comment, how old is De Niro? De Niro's what, 78? Or is he older than...
I don't know.
Robert De Niro. He's 79. All right? So my comment to that was, like, all the women I know were commenting and like, oh, God, 79, having a kid, that's disgusting. And I'm like, what? You mean women don't fantasize about 79-year-old balls? What?
What, gray pubes don't turn them on?
And then here comes...
So, Billy Joel had a daughter.
Here comes Pacino.
Billy Joel had a daughter at 65. Simon Cowell, 53. Hugh Grant, 52. Elton John, 66. Mick Jagger, 56. Kelsey Grammer, 58. Michael Douglas, 58. And let's see here. Jeff Goldblum had a baby at 65. John Stamos had one at 54. George Clooney had one at 56. Steve Martin was 67 when he had a kid. Alec Baldwin is 60. Yep, Michael Douglas. Yep.
At this point, at 80 years old, and in that range, if you're having a kid, you are not going to be a father to that kid. You're going to be hiring somebody to be a father. I mean,
Mick Jagger had a kid as recently as 2016.
Nick Cannon had
Okay.
a kid yesterday. Oh, look, Nick Cannon just had another kid.
Yeah.
She did?
Nick Cannon.
I think Nick Cannon has a new kid every 2 minutes.
Oh, Nick
so.
Cannon. Oh, my God. Okay. I thought you said McKenna. I was like, what?
No.
How did this
Nick
news not-
Cannon, not McKenna. No.
Nick Cannon, not McKenna. Nick Cannon. Okay.
And McKenna didn't have a kid with Nick Cannon, or that would have been big news.
That'd be news to her.
That would have been news to a lot of people.
I would like to make it perfectly clear to our listening audience that that was Shaggy that said that, not Mike
I
the
said
Ape
she
Man.
didn't. I said she didn't.
I did not even imply. I want to make it very clear. I am hated enough. I am not going to go down that road, damn it.
That's all right.
There is a 76% chance, 76.4 to be exact, percent chance that if your last name, maiden or otherwise, is Blair, you are not a fan of Mike the Ape Man. That's a fact. Okay? That is a fact. And I do not want that number to go any higher. So I am being very, very clear about that. Y'all going to get me canceled. What movies did we do again? Because it's been so damn long. I had to open up the sheet and remind myself that, oh, yeah, that's right. It was Children's Week for the movies.
Yes, it was. Wait, why do we keep theming these weeks? It's hilarious.
I don't know, and I don't remember what the movies were either.
So we had Metal Lords.
Oh, okay. Yep.
Which was a teen version of Spinal Tap.
Yep.
I guess. And Night Books, which was like Mortimer S. Marker meets Nickelodeon. I don't know.
Goosebumps.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's see here. All right, Colin, you want to go first? Do you remember enough
Sure,
to go
which one we
first?
started with?
Whichever one you want.
Let's just do Night Books since I can get that in here. So,
Okay. Go ahead.
Night Books is a horror movie for kids. So if you have kids who like horror stuff, this is a movie for them. It's about a kid who is writing horror stories and is doesn't really have very many friends because he's the weird kid in the class. And basically he gets abducted by the witch from Hansel and Gretel, and he has to write stories to keep for reasons that aren't really explained until much later. It's like the whole thing of why was he trying? He was trying to get rid of his books, and that's like goes on way too long to say why he wanted to get rid of his books. Which this came down to the one friend he thought he had now thinks he's weird too, and the most stereotypical kids plot of all time. He had a birthday party and nobody came, which came up recently in Peppermint. So another theme we have going on. Anyway, it's a horror movie. It was produced actually by a horror royalty, which I just forgot his name. It's not Tim Burton. It's
Wes Craven?
No. It's here we go. Producers. Sam Raimi, Evil Dead guy. It's a perfectly pleasant horror movie that is okay for kids, and um, kid actually managed to make friends. But I will say there was a very nasty scene with an invisible cat that it did not feel quite as age appropriate as the rest of the movie was. That was a little. I think that was a little too far there. I'll just leave it at that. And but overall, it was fine, and I'll give it a smile, I guess.
All right. Good deal. Okay. Let's see here. All right. So, Night Books blends elements of fantasy, horror, and adventure kind of together. It kind of takes you into this scenario where storytelling kind of becomes a life or death issue, like Colin kind of said. Revolves around Alex, a young boy with a passion for writing scary stories, who finds himself trapped in a mysterious apartment by a witch named Natasha, whatever, I don't remember. In order to survive, Alex must entertain her every night by telling her a new and captivating story. With the help of his fellow captive, Yasmin, they embark on a series of imaginative adventures, weaving together tales that keep the witch's hunger for stories at bay. All right, pretty, standard, exactly what Colin kind of said. The performances are pretty good, particularly for the young actors. I don't believe they're of any note from previous things that I've seen. Visually, the movie's, again, on par. So really, not to, go too much further other than what Colin said. It's an interesting premise. It kind of takes a new stab at some old tropes. I think it would resonate okay with children or adults. It's pretty good at world building, and it's a good little storytelling type of movie. So, I would say go ahead, watch it, but yeah, age appropriateness, you're probably looking at 12 plus, I would say, for this movie. It's not for the super young, but I think 12 plus would be able to handle it without too many problems. And it wasn't necessarily for me, but I'll give it a smile along with Colin, just for lack of anything better. All right, Mike.
All right, so I watched this one second. So this was round 2 of the Kitty double feature. At least this one was a Netflix presentation, so maybe it'll be a little better quality. Spoiler alert than that other Dookie Fest that we had to watch. Let me just say something. If I was in an elevator and it bumped violently before stopping at the wrong floor, I'm getting out. I'm getting out and I'm taking the stairs. I'm not pushing other buttons. I'm getting the hell off that elevator. Now, the hairless cat. Never trust hairless cats. Okay? They're not cats. Period. Full stop. It's not a cat. What the hell is the demon spider thing? The creepy crawler. That's actually the best part of the movie so far. I was very nifty little nod to the Lost Boys with the remake of Cry Little Sister during the potion scene. I still have to go and try and find that version now, because that'll make a great under the covers version. Although I have a new trivia category that I didn't talk about, movie madness, where I play a song like Cry Little Sister from a movie, and you got to tell me what movie it's from. I think this may be the scene that Colin's referring to, but there was a scene where the invisible cat, hairless, not a cat, almost died. And I was even like, okay, this cannot happen. But it doesn't, so it's all good. evil unicorn. But I wonder if that's the unicorn that I envisioned Obama and Neil Patrick Harris riding while waiting for the mothership to take them home with Tom Cruise while Helen Keller surfed the web at turbo speed. Really throwing it back now, people. Look, if you've got kids, go ahead and watch this movie with them. It might be a little scary, but it's doable. Like Shaggy said, I'd say maybe 12 and up, depending on how mature your children are. If you don't have kids, don't watch this movie. Just don't. I'm giving this a meh only because I have no idea how else to rank this. I don't. I kept feeling like the kid that was doing the writing, I kept feeling like he was a dollar store version of the kid from Jerry Maguire.
Yeah.
Is he somehow related to that kid? Is he that kid's kid?
It's Inception.
Yeah. No, that is not the scene I was referring to.
Okay.
I was referring to the pooping scene.
I probably blanked that scene out, but okay.
All right. Colin, Metal Lords. Yep. The cinematic adventure that is Metal Lords.
Yay, Metal Lords. Okay, let me just say first off, everything in this movie that is music was enjoyable. In fact, I need to find a actual metal band that has somebody playing the cello like that because I need to have a playlist of just that. That is up my alley. But otherwise, the main character is Kevin, but his best friend is Hunter. Hunter is that stereotypical character. So you get a lot of these in these movies. Mother abandoned him and his father. His father is a plastic surgeon, and of course is dating all of his patients, and basically is kind of ignored his son, who has stolen the American Express and gone crazy with it. So those characters you've seen in lots of movies. The difference here is that this kid has decided to go full metal, and in some scenes, full misogynist, and this movie would have been better if they'd actually finished off something in that character, some kind of catharsis, some kind of, I don't need the character to be fixed. I don't need him to be mentally okay. But the movie just kind of shrugs and goes, oh, no, he's fine. It's just metal. And I'm just looking at that going, no, you can't just explain it away and say, Bill Cosby was fine with what he did. It was just metal. That it doesn't work. You can't just say it's metal. Okay, but to go back to the beginning. So, best friend of this screwed up metal kid is pulled into the band to play drums. He doesn't play drums. He plays a drum in a marching band, which he's in to get out of PE. That I can understand. I did, I was in a class in high school that allowed me to not be in PE for a year. That was good. But the guy goes full on with the drums and learns how to play the drums really well. That part of the movie, great. And then the kid, he meets this girl who herself has mental issues. She's on medication, but she plays the cello. She also doesn't play the clarinet. And the two of them start playing heavy metal music together, but they can't get in the other guy with the guitar because he's being crazy because, his mother left him, so he has trouble with women in general. Again, I think that should have been solved better than it was, which it wasn't. Um, anyway, there's Battle of the Bands. It's basically a bad, more adult version of School of Rock. That's really what this is. This is a School of Rock without Jack Black in it, and the age range moved up to the other end of teenagers. So, yeah, that's without going too much into the plot. What there is of it, that's this movie. If you want to watch teenagers playing heavy metal music and getting mad at each other and then getting back together at the end, and again, like School of Rock, not really winning in the end. There you go. This is your movie. Just because I actually did enjoy the music, I'm going to give this one a smile. I think this movie could have been better.
All right. So the first about 45 minutes of this movie are extremely long, boring, and drawn out. Just know that. They establish some backstory, but they are very tedious to make it through. All right. You know, they do okay at setting up the characters, but they do nothing to really move the story along very well. And then you're left the rest of the movie to basically do the movie part. Does it do a great job of the movie part? No. Like Colin said, predictable plot, predictable progression, predictable storyline, predictable this, that, and the other. You know, soundtrack, okay. You know, but visually, the film doesn't do a whole lot to impress. The performances are not terribly great. You know, it's kind of a lackluster and forgettable film. We've seen other coming-of-age films that do a whole lot better. You know, it doesn't ignite any excitement or relatability to the characters, really. You know, and it's just it's not nearly as interesting. I'd rather watch the Nickelodeon, you know, Tomb Show than this thing again, because even though putting the monkey puzzle back together was extremely boring, it at least had a couple of chuckles every now and then. So, you know, yeah, this wasn't a great film. It just, for me, it wasn't. So I'm going to go ahead and I'll give it a meh, because it probably appeals to somebody out there, but it don't deserve no better than that. All right.
Before Mike talks, I made a mistake. It's smirk, not smile.
Okay. Okay. All right. All right. So this drummer kid, I'm pretty sure he's the bastard love child of young Leonard from Big Bang and Harry Potter. The way this movie is getting so cliche, I am surprised that the kid didn't throw up on the girl at the party. And as Shaggy said, for the first 45 minutes, I'm just like, small town like that they live in. I am pretty sure doing 120 miles an hour in a Dodge Challenger down Main Street means everyone knows it's you doing that. So, cringe warning when the Scottish chick is talking to Leonard Potter and says, make sure you bring thingies for your thingy. What? No. So now the main character, Hunter, has this half-shaven head. And you know what? Maybe I do need glasses for when I'm on the computer, because I keep looking at him and I'm seeing Leah Thomas, the swimmer. Now I want to know where they got these metal legends from Anthrax and Metallica and such. Where did they get? How did they get these guys to show up in this freaking movie? I need to know this. And of course, Joe Manganiello. This freaking guy is everywhere. He is the famous Troy Nix that they talk about in this entire movie, and he's bald in this movie, shaven head. How is it possible that Joe Manganiello is still so freaking good looking with a bald head? This was Netflix trying to do an after school special. That's exactly what it was. And yes, I did enjoy most of the music. I enjoyed the covers that they did. The original song they did at Battle of the Bands, I was like, should have stuck with War Pigs.
Yeah.
What I want to know is, and I'm looking at you, Shag, I want to know what the hell you were even watching that this came up as a recommendation.
I don't know. I don't know.
Okay? That's what I want to know. That is the big mystery in all of this. I'm giving it a meh.
All right. Time to pick for the next show.
We have got 28 on here.
Only 28 movies. Wow.
I'm going to guess without looking at the movie list that the theme this time will be dogs.
10. I'm going to bet the theme is going to be movies that aren't available.
I'm gonna fight you in a second. Nope. You're right. Number 10 is not available. Thank God, because the description is Hallmarkish movie.
All right. 28.
Oh, Lord. Okay, this is on Amazon. Green Ghost and the Masters of the Stone. Let's just stop for a second. I'm going to read the description, and then we'll take... A group of Mexican superheroes are forced to team up with a gringo to save humanity.
Oh, we haven't had one of those in a while.
The only reason I'm not even trying to veto this is because Danny Trejo's in it.
Oh, God, yes.
I'll tell you right now, we might as well watch
Oh, I love it. I love it.
Trump and the Illuminati at this point.
Oh.
All right, go ahead.
12.
Hold on, let me see if it's hiding somewhere and the link was bad. Okay, so the link was bad.
Okay.
I will replace the link. It is on Amazon. This may actually be a good one. It's a Liam Neeson movie called Blacklight.
2 words or 1 word?
1 word.
Okay.
A troubled, off-the-books fixer for the FBI finds himself in the middle of a deadly government conspiracy.
Is his daughter taken during it?
No, he does not need that special set of skills.
Well, it sounds like he does need that special set of skills. All right. So Green Ghost and the Masters of the Stone and Blacklight. It sounds like a wonderful combination. What a double feature. All right.
I don't know. We may be breaking a streak of having a theme going with this. We'll see.
All right. And the next question then is, our next show going to be on the 12th? Is that when we're going to do it? I think that sounds reasonable.
I'm okay with that date.
Okay. So then we will plan on...
But?
Yes, Colin? 12?
Up to you guys. So,
All right.
okay.
So we'll plan on it being at 12. You know, at that point, everybody can tune into us then. So, thank you, everybody, for tuning in and listening to the show. Don't forget to check out the podcast. You can check out the link for that at ptrradio.com. It's also got information for all the hosts, as well as information about the show in general. Don't forget, you can also check us out on our social medias. That's PTR Radio on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, all the fun stuff, where you can keep in touch with the show and let us know how you're doing. If there's a topic you want us to cover, more than willing to take a look at it and give you our 2 cents. I don't have anything coming up. You just had some stuff, but Mike, anything coming down the line?
I may have some stories, but nothing that I can firmly commit to at this time.
All right. Colin, anything for you? You got another trip to Disney planned that we don't know about, maybe? You know?
No, I have nothing for many, many months.
Oh, by the way, next show, remember to show us everything that you crocheted on your cruise. We're really looking forward to that. And maybe you can get some of your new friends on the phone if they got some, knitting news that they want to relay to us. We'd appreciate that too. So, we're glad to have everybody back, and looking forward to getting back into a regular swing of show every 2 weeks. So, thanks everybody for tuning in. Really appreciate it. And we will get back to a regular schedule of shows. We'll just keep everybody happy, healthy, and on the air. So with that said, folks, I'm Shaggy.
I'm Colin.
I'm Mike the Ape Man.
Sick of forking us, folks. We are done. Later.
Even help yourself with the revenge of the monkey grinder.